Everyone is talking about how AI is making you more productive, more faster, and more scalable. And it does, but nobody is talking about what AI is taking away from you. You're running automations you don't understand, you make decisions based on AI because you can't explain it, and you just build a business on foundation of borrowed authority and expertise. It works until it doesn't. Because when actually a real problem is hitting you, you don't know how to solve this problem. And by an actual problem, I mean not just writing an email or an outline of your marketing campaign or IPC research for your Facebook ads, but actually a business problem. So, for example, how to deal with people or make important decisions, because AI can't do that. Because you, as an agency owner, has the perspective and have the further and strategic view on things, because you know in detail how things are working. You know the sales process, you know the delivery process, you know how to run your business in a whole. But if you just let AI make those smaller things, yes, they are working right now, but when you are growing, your business becomes so complex that AI cannot do those decisions anymore. It doesn't have the experience. So in this video, I will show you 3 specific abilities AI is deleting you right now from your brain, and why you are getting weaker even though you are building your business and making more revenue than ever. And I know that because over the last 2 years, I analyzed over 100 agencies and saw their inside out of their operation. And AI didn't actually break you, but success did. Let's start with what actually happens inside your brain with AI. There are 3 specific abilities that AI is systematically deleting you from your brain. First, your brain stopped generating original thoughts. Your client asks something, but now you are asking AI to answer your client's question. But you have the actual expertise, and you are now outsourcing your expertise to this AI chatbot. But the problem is that it's working right now, but not in the future, because you don't get feedback and evolve your thoughts. Because maybe you were quite good 1 year ago, but now with time you don't have the market feedback at the front door and don't know what the market actually wants. And you think you know what people are wanting, but you actually not. So your expertise built over years is slowly fading away. What you don't use, you lose, which leads us directly to the next point. You can't push through hard things anymore. Now you are an agency owner and know exactly what to do, because you've been there and done all those things yourself. But back then, we have to distinguish between AI and automations, because automations automate repetitive tasks, but AI is replacing your thinking. Automations are there to automate repetitive tasks, and that is good, and that is why automation exists. But this kind of automation, just basic software, already existed for decades. Now with AI, we get this new fancy layer on top of things where people say, oh well, let's do AI automations. But AI automations is nothing else than automations wrapped around a machine that can think, but it's basically just based on probabilities. So it doesn't make sense to use AI automations for making decisions. So 5 years ago, you use GHL or instantly to automate your processes. But now you are outsourcing your thinking. And because you don't have the reps anymore to do those thinking, slowly your expertise is fading. People trick you in believing that AI is doing the work for you, but AI doesn't actually do the work for you, but automations and old software is doing the heavy lifting. AI is now only this weird fancy layer on top of things that will, people think, AI can do anything. But automations can do anything. But AI is just probabilities wrapped around automations. With AI, things get actually more complicated because with automations there are fixed rules on how things should behave. But with AI, it's just everything probabilities. So you get better by don't actually getting better. You do automated processes and think you can make important decisions in your business with AI, but it can't. Maybe it could do that if you had just 2 clients and everything were fine, but if you're scaling up, the room for errors in AI is getting also larger. So you are growing and scaling until a point where you don't know what's happening and just rely on AI while you lose slowly your expertise and knowledge inside your business. It's like a bodybuilder on steroids. It's like a bodybuilder on steroids. Without that special medicine, it takes years to build that body with discipline. But with it's like a bodybuilder on steroids. Without a special medicine, it takes years of rock solid discipline to build that body. With special medicine, you get twice the result in half the time. But let's don't pretend that it's still easy to build muscles even though you are on steroids. And it's the same thing with business. With AI, it's still difficult, but it's easier than before. But the temptation to use those steroids and so AI for your way of thinking is also increasing. So you have to really distinct those two things. You can threefold your revenue, but can't control your stress and emotions. And the responsibility that comes with a bigger business and employees. The steroids gave you more size with less work. AI gave you leverage without building skill and the character to handle it. Your business got strong, but you don't. First, use AI for execution and not thinking. AI handles delivery great as long as they don't come up with your main idea for your marketing campaigns. Think first and execute with AI second. Before you use AI, try to come up with your own answer to a specific problem. And then compare your draft to the solution of AI. Then you can compare what was good and maybe not that good. And then you can also see where AI has its flaws and strengths. So you can actually understand the mechanism underneath. Make decisions before you ask AI to validate them. Force your brain to generate the answers first. These reps sucks and I get it, but that's the actual point. It should be difficult and boring. You are rebuilding that muscle that died out. Next point, build awareness around your feedback while building automations. And this is in general, I think, a pretty good exercise to just take out 20 minutes of your week and reflect on your decisions you made in that week in your business. And then you maybe realize you made a lot of emotional decisions, and that's why you are asking AI to do the work for you. Or you were desperate and want to get things done immediately, and that's why you asked ChatGPT first and got the appropriate result with it. When you are reflecting on your decision making, you can also see what kind of person and leader you are. Are you desperate for money? Do you things just for the sake of doing things? Do you enjoy those things? Are you a person that uses quick fixes or actually have a long-term vision? AI will shortcut this decision making and this period of reflection. So you have zero awareness about how you are making decisions. So now the fourth and last point, relearn how to learn. When you're confused, sit down for 30 minutes without asking AI. When you are stuck, you should try to solve it yourself. When you are learning new things, you only learn new things if you are struggling. Don't skip that period where you just sit down and know nothing, because that is the exact period where your brain is trying to make new connections. But when everything is easy, then you don't learn. You should rebuild that tolerance for not knowing. And that's the actual thinking process that should happen. And thinking is not reading or using AI. It's not gathering information from some random sources on the internet. But thinking is about connecting dots. And that is the hard part. Look, none of that is sexy. And you're not going to 10x your revenue by doing that. And it's actually slowing you down. Less productive, more uncomfortable. But that discomfort, that is the building block for your actual mental strength. So you have the confidence to overcome hard things when they are coming up, because the boss of the business knows every part of their business. When something is breaking, you could step in and do that work because you went through the mud yourself. Outreach, sales, delivery, maybe content, taxes, team building, culture, leadership, marketing, all that stuff that you learn the hard way, not just with one click with ChatGPT. And that's where your confidence is actually built. You got the reps and know what works. You know you can do that. AI is the most powerful tool you will ever have. But tool will only amplify what's already there. 0 times infinity is still 0. If you're mentally weak, AI makes you weaker. If you're mentally strong, you will become unstoppable with AI.